Welcome to a super cozy vlog. This week I'm going to spend the whole week reading some fall cozy books. The one that I really wanted to start with I just got from the library, and that is the book everybody except for me has read, Legends and Lattes. This is by Travis Baldree, and this was super popular a while ago. With the genre of cozy fantasy, well, the subgenre really became super popular, and I never really hopped on, although I did read this book, A Very Secret Society of Regular Witches, and I gave it 4 stars. But we're gonna dive back in. I don't think this one's too long, so let's start with this prologue. We're gonna be super cozy, maybe even I can light my new IKEA candle. So we're just gonna have a super fun time with this video, and I'm really excited to really immerse myself into this season. Okay, so far I have no idea what I read, but I think the gist is that this orc has spent her whole life, you know, doing fantasy novel things, and we're supposed to imagine that this is the end of a fantasy novel series of just so much like adventure and stuff, and now this orc is going to open up a coffee shop, and that's her new adventure. Basically the plot, I think, is that she's done with plots. Okay, I'm about to go to school, but on my commute we are definitely going to be reading Legends and Lattes and really just soaking in the fall vibes, because today is actually only 21 degrees. So honestly, this probably isn't necessary, but I'm going with it for the aesthetic. Dare I say this book is a little boring. So far I'm still at the part where they are still constructing the coffee shop. So we haven't started hiring staff or going on like adventures and stuff. We are just like day after day building it. And I'm a quarter way through. We've only been introduced to 2 side characters. One is like the assistant constructor, and the other is the neighbor. The neighbor has more personality than the one that's like the side builder. It's a little boring, I will admit. I will say. As you can see, I have a blot summary going on in the background for Twisted Love, but I have lit my pumpkin candle, which I got from IKEA. I do believe I'm going to talk more about that in a different fall themed video. So cute though. So I have actually been filming this video and a witch related video, and so I keep flipping between books so I don't get burned out of either, but I am planning on just reading a bunch of fall books in a row now. So today, hopefully, we're going to be able to finish Legends and Lattes, because I have the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, literally like both of them in, and the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, I think, whichever one comes first, that one is due in 3 days because I got one of the lucky loans. and my other option was to just wait 5 weeks. So I went for the lucky, and now I'm here with 0 pages read and due in 3 days. So that is basically what I'm doing all of today, which is why I've started to set a vibe. So I thought super fitting to wear my Snoopy shirt. This is the Trick or Treat Snoopy shirt from American Eagle, and it's super comfy, and I am going to school later, but that will be in the evening, so hopefully I just have lots of time to read today. And we're just gonna have a very fall day. It's kind of cold outside, so perfect setting, you know what I'm saying? Tell me why I'm freezing, but we're gonna make a little reading drink. This is a fairy dust hot chocolate package, so let's go try it. Okay, then of course, I'm gonna have one of these cookies on the side, my snack. I'm just really living my best life. I did my homework. I do have to go to school today, but like that's later. I have evening classes, so it's kind of nice. I'm freezing though, so like I just gotta get my like little hoodie on and just chill. How fun is this? This, oh, you can't really see. It's this really pretty green color. It smells good, but it's way too hot to try right now. And then I have my pumpkin drink. Like, I'm thriving.
So there's lots of
nice stretch. Stretch those heels, get those heels up. Go into triangle. Unless you want to try and raise one of your back legs. Oh my gosh, I'm about to record you falling in.
Oh God, Jesus. Oh, I can't.
Oh, good job! What do you call this one?
Life is but a dream plank. Reverse plank.
Reverse?
My core, it burns.
Seen lots of seals, lots of fish. Vibing. That's wild.
Oh yeah, plank is easy. You just do a whole workout on here. Sit-ups, plank.
That's not a plank, by the way.
This? This is a plank.
That's a plank.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Let's see this. Alright. Yeah. Are we in over our heads? This is the question. We're gonna do some diamond painting. We will see. Okay, so this book, Legends and Lattes, I cannot wait to tell you how much I hate it and why I hate it. It sucks and it's so slow, and maybe it's not the book and maybe cozy fantasy is just not my genre, but I have read some cozy fantasy books that I did enjoy, so who's to say? I like a little tiny little sprinkling of a plot, but none could be found in this book. This is the second time I've had to rent it from the library. It's due in 3 days again, and I have 25% left to go. So naturally, the only logical solution to my problem is just to simply speed run it right now. So we're gonna speed run this. I'm hopefully gonna be done in like an hour, maybe 2 hours. And I'm too far in to just quit. So we're gonna just read it. I have about 125 Kobo pages left. So I'm on chapter 25. And let's just do it, because I just can't have this lingering over my life anymore, because it sucks so much. And I have another book on the queue that I want to read. So let's do this. Okay, by the way, 1, yes, I'm reading this in bed. It's 1 p.m. Don't care. And 2, I remember I was reading this last night thinking maybe I could stay up. But at 10:30, I was like, it is not worth pulling an all-nighter for this. Well, not an all-nighter, but staying up late. I put the book down at the, like, peak of the plot in the book. I know I said there was no plot. There's like a smidge, like a dust of a plot. And literally at the peak, the height of this book, I was like, nah, I'm gonna put this down. I had no desire to find out what happened next. So, if that tells you anything, then it should. There is no amount of caffeine that is gonna make me get through this, like, with my brain cells intact. Because I'm losing them. I just can't. And I know you're probably thinking, Mia, why don't you just DNF it? You have rights as a reader. And to that, I would say, I'm a completionist. Any video game I've ever started, I've gotten all the stars. Actually, that is not true, like, whatsoever. Okay, things that I care about. Like, if I start reading a book, it takes so much for me to DNF it. Because I want all of my pages to count when I add it to Goodreads, and you can't count a DNF book. So I am not going to have suffered to just move on and not have that count towards my Goodreads. So maybe in terms of Goodreads, it's something like that. I don't know. I have problems. So, woohoo. Okay, so I did finish the book. After you finish and you do the epilogue and you do the acknowledgements, there's this thing called Pages to Fill, a Legends and Latte story. To me, it sounds like a little extra bonus story. I'm not reading that, so if you wanted a full review on this, I was probably not the person to ask. But I did not like this book. I'm gonna give it a 1.5, which is exceptionally low for me. I do not do this lightly. I do think this book is what it's marketed as, so this is just my opinion, and so many people I'm sure would rank this so much higher. For me, the book was way too predictable, boring, slow, lacked any sort of depth. I've read shorter books than this that have had way more character development and, you know, less predictability. So it's not the length that's the issue here. In terms of predictability, we have a scene where one of our characters always makes fun of our main character, Viv, because she doesn't have a bed and she sleeps on the floor. And at the end of the book, when she's talking to her friend who's gonna help with some construction, the cliffhanger of the chapter is, oh, and I have one more request. And you know what that cliffhanger led to? It led to her showing this person that she had built a bed and included it in her room. So yeah, that's what we're talking about here. There were some really cute parts of the book, like Thimble, who is a mouse, who is an exceptional baker. However, you have to believe in this story that he actually invents the cinnamon bun and so many other desserts that we know of. One of them kind of sounded like a lava cake situation. It's definitely got an atmosphere. It's kind of like a medieval vibe, but like the characters are all different kinds of like species. You know, like we have a mouse, we have like a vampire, we have an orc, like it's giving Monster High. That was like fine. It just like wasn't the type of cozy vibe I was after. It takes place in like the last chapter takes place in November, and you spend the whole book, literally the whole book, building this coffee shop, and then an event happens where you essentially speed run the first half of the book all over again. So that was not exciting. I was very not interested in redoing the whole plot. So yeah, cute premise. I think it started off well. It became boring really quickly with specifically the construction of this shop. It did get a little more interesting. There wasn't a ton going on, and I don't even know what to comment on in terms of the romance because it was so underdeveloped that I just didn't know what to do with it because there was just no depth there. There was no believability, and it could have been a really great subplot. However, I don't think the subplot really started until like 70% of the way through the book. And there was like no hinting towards that direction like whatsoever, unless I'm just dumb. So for me, it could have been good, but it just wasn't. Didn't love this book. Put me in a reading slump. It put my witch vlog and my fall reading vlog so far behind schedule because I couldn't bring myself to read this book. I thought it was so boring. But I know that this is some people's book. If you already know you like cozy fantasy, you know what you're getting yourself into, this could be a great read. However, if you're reading this over like multiple days, it gets very tedious, very boring. Like this book is tedious. Every chapter is tedious, no plot. Like I really, like she has a stone and someone else wants this stone and this stone supposedly brings good wealth. So that was the most of it. Oh, and these taxpayer people want her money and she wants to like, she's resisting the urge to murder them. So that's what I'm reading. I don't even know what the next book I'm reading for this video is because they've all expired at the library. So I have to try and find some new books to read. And I want to try the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, but I don't know if I have enough time on Livy left. So I will let you know what I end up picking out. But I'm so excited to return this book. Get it off there. Moving on with my life. Hi everyone. Okay, today we're going to the Fairmont, Vancouver, and we're actually going to be doing their harvest like high tea. So that's super exciting. That's kind of why we're more dressed up than normal. This is something different. I'm so excited about it, but we do have to commute quite a while and it's delayed, so. Your speedster.
I think we were yelled at for declared public policy, and that was fine too. But it's restricted until.
Oh shoot!
You can
A mist.
With your starship.
Maybe. Ketchup
Do you want
and
one?
mustard?
Do you want the other one, Mia?
Of these two? Sure.
Okay. They're both gone.
Oh lord.
Whoa, that's a lot of ketchup.
This is Jack's.
He's having 2 hot dogs on one bun.
No.
Yeah, 2 on 1. Please.
2 on 1.
It's not a big bun, it's just a regular bun.
That's fine. I don't want 2 buns though.
Too many carbs.
Yeah.
I worked out today for
Yummy,
the first time in
You gotta come get it.
over a week.
Here, give me the
40 minutes.
skewer.
Contractions. So I did the
Hi everyone. So we're gonna continue on, and I've actually decided that I'm gonna start the audiobook. Well, I have started the audiobook, A Nightmare Before Christmas, which I think is gonna be a great transition between the fall time and Halloween and Christmas. So far though, I've listened to about an hour and a half, and it's just straight up Christmas vibes. So I don't know how much of a transition it's going to be, but last night me and my family started watching A Nightmare Before Christmas. So very much I'm just swapping between the two, which is a really exciting time. I just got back from volunteering, and I'm going to listen to more of it on my way to school. I've got my headphones charging so that they last me my commute. And I'm still reading Hex in the City, which I'm about 100 Kobo pages into. But if you watch my witch reading vlog, then you'll know all about that. And I'm also going to be reading that at the same time. So those are kind of the 2 books I'm bouncing between right now. But I'm finding it much easier to listen to my audiobook because I did pick up a new hobby of cross-stitching. So fun, that's what I'm doing. Okay. Gizmo is literally right here. Gizmo's been chilling while I've been filming this, if you're wondering what's going on. Right, cutie? Yeah, so A Nightmare Before Christmas, so far we have our main character Nicholas. There's kind of different courts of different seasons, and they're kind of in this magical realm, and each court has a certain amount of magic that they can expend, and Nicholas is kind of the prince, so he's like in line to take over Christmas, and he was in a forced marriage with his best friend, or forced engagement, who is like the princess of Easter. Because they need to strengthen both of their courts, and they think that this alliance is really going to help. But of course, neither of them want to get married. They're just platonic friends. But I haven't met the like prince or something from like Halloween, but I do believe it's a romance between the Prince of Christmas and the Prince of Halloween, just based on the cover alone and the title. So I haven't met him yet, but I don't know. We will see about that. But so far, like, it's just a vibe. Okay, y'all will never believe what the Prince of Halloween's name is. It's Hex. Like I put a hex on you. Hex something. Yeah. The Prince of Christmas is named Nicholas. We also have Chris. We also have Cole. Can't imagine who the least favorite child is in that. Yep, so, you know, it's a little on the nose, but it works. They canceled my bus. I stood out there for 10 minutes early for the first time in my life. Paid for parking. They canceled my bus, and the next one's gonna be late. I am not paying $30 to park at campus for one day, or spent over $100 on a park pass that I'm not gonna use. So guess what we're doing? We're skipping class today because honestly, that's
dumb. And I really was excited. I brought my headphones. Like, guys, I've never been this prepared for school in my whole life. So you know what we're gonna do today? We are gonna run some errands instead. I have like an hour to just chill because this hour was supposed to be me commuting. So I need to buy a whole ton of toonies. I think I might even just buy a roll. I don't know how much that costs, and I don't really know how to use the like really fancy ATM thing. So I think I'm gonna like talk to an actual bank person at my bank. Gonna go to my bank, gonna get a lot of toonies because today I paid for parking in like too many quarters, like way too many. And I need to condense that. So I'm gonna get some of those. I'm trying to think if I need any like makeup products or anything. I don't think I do. I don't think I need anything else because normally I would pop over to like the dollar store or like to a Shoppers or something. I feel like I always need stuff, and I feel like I'm gonna go home and be like, oh yeah, I need this. So I'm gonna think if I need anything from anywhere else. You know what? I'm gonna go to the dollar store and I'm gonna look for Christmas supplies. That's what I'm gonna do. So let's go do some I'm just gonna call this productive, but it's really not. Let's go do things like I'm filled with the Christmas spirit. Literally, guys, I don't know what possessed me in the store. I wasn't even gonna grab a cart because I thought it was kind of all junk and stupid, but I just couldn't help myself, and now this is what I'm doing with my day. So if anyone is against Christmas in November, they can just click out of this because that's where this is heading. Okay, guys, the way I'm so excited for this, and I'm now like 4 hours into this audiobook. Like, I love Christmas. So I'm gonna show you a big haul of everything I got. Yep. Okay, let's get into it. All right, so I'm gonna show you everything I got. My room is kind of green themed, so I really tried to lean into that. And I definitely want to go to like HomeSense and Winners and Old Navy and like a bunch of other places to get Christmas stuff. This is just like a little sprinkling, you know? So I always keep one stuffed animal in my bed, and right now I have this little seal that I've got on there right now, and it really goes with everything and cute. But I think we're gonna have to put this one in the closet for a little bit because I did get a reindeer because it was like $3. So and it's super squishy. It feels like a Squishmallow in terms of the filling, like just like that. But now I'm thinking of a name. I'm thinking about naming him from one of the characters in this book. So our options are Nicholas, Cole, Kristoff, Christopher, Sven. I'm thinking about calling him Sven, but I think that's very unoriginal. So if you have name suggestions, please let me know. I will be naming him. The next thing that I unnecessarily purchased is this, and I'm thinking about wrapping this either around the top of my bed or putting it on my windowsill. This is just a little garland. I decided to go for the white and green one. I do believe that I have another one that I am allowed to steal from my mother because I do not think that she wants it, and I used it in my room last year, but I don't know. So we might have two of these, and that's just fine with me. I did just get so much of that garland on my carpet, so I'm going to be vacuuming that later. Okay, on Christmas related, for my programs that I run for my job, I actually use balloons every single day because for some class, some form of class, and the package I got didn't really have a lot of fun colors, so I did buy a pack of balloons. I usually use this as like a warm-up activity, like keeping the balloon off the ground. I'm a soccer coach, and for one of the days in my program, I find a bunch of the silliest objects I could find, and then they have to score using those objects. And so my little tree that I put in my bedroom is gold, red, and green pine cone themed. So I did buy a little bit more of the red and green ornaments, and I went with these bells. I'm not sure when I'm going to set the tree up. I think that will be in a different video. I also don't have a star for my tree, so I bought these little clips, and I'm hoping to use one of these to clip on the top to make like a star. And also for my kiddos at work, I did buy big sticker packages again. This one is like spring, Easter, and bee themed, so I'll use that like way later. But I also got this animal one, and I thought it would be super cute. I have like thousands of stickers, but I love stickers and I love to give them out for random reasons. So I just thought I'd buy a few more of those. And I also bought some ribbon for wrapping presents this year. I haven't bought this year's wrapping paper, but again, it's the dollar store, so it's literally $1, and I thought I'd just pick it up while I was there. Also bought this. It's kind of like a brown, like, decorative ribbon is what it's called. And I'm, oh my goodness, hoping that there's a way to kind of make it into a bow. I do think it's a little thick. I might cut it in half. But I wanted, yeah, this is way too big. I should have grabbed something smaller. I really wanted to make bows on my closet door handles. I'm probably going to have to end up using this for something else because this is way too big for that, and I don't really want to cut it in half because it's like weaved in there. This is probably flop purchase, but I just threw it in the cart. So I have to deal with my own consequences. Now I am just getting over being sick and I'm pretty much done, but for next time I wanted to keep a package of these hauls in my purse because I wish that I would have had more access to these, because the ones that I had, my boyfriend got them a long time ago when I was sick a long time ago, and they were definitely expired. So just while it was like in my mindset, I just thought I'd pick those up. And I do believe that's all. So not like a ton of stuff, but you know, enough to get me started here. And I might go crazy. And now that I think about it, maybe I should wrap this on top of my bed frame. I don't know, like it's gonna get crazy in here. I just wanted to use this for a ribbon. I don't know. But that's what we've got going on. And oh, I did buy a roll of toonies in case you were keeping up with that plot line. $50 is insane. Even though like I got $50 back, my bank account doesn't feel like it got $50 back. And I'm gonna keep listening to this audiobook and do some homework because I was supposed to be at school right now, so I don't really have anything on the schedule. Ooh, look, one of my toonies is a special one. That's so cute. It's got the Northern Lights on it. It's got Canada. It's got the mountains and the Northern Lights. How pretty. Well, I don't want to get rid of that. Y'all, I've been addicted to doing my cross stitching, and I've just kept the cross stitching tray near me at all times. And I have been literally listening to my audiobook nonstop and cross stitching. This is how far I've gotten. However, because I stayed up so late last night, I wasn't really thinking clearly. And this entire light green part here was actually supposed to be a half stitch instead of the cross stitch. So I'm going to have to take the entire thing apart, and I'm going to have to redo it all in half stitches. So I mean, the way that the back is set up is not going to be fun to take this out. I'm low-key like, is it going to be a big deal? But we're going to take it out. And I'm going to keep listening to this audiobook. I have 3 hours left, but I'm listening to it at 1.6. So let's see if we can redo this part and finish the audiobook. So many updates for you in terms of my reading. I actually just met my Goodreads goal because of this video. So I read 30 out of 30 books, and right now it is November 12th. So I definitely have time to make a new goal. So if you have suggestions or what you think I could actually meet, let me know.
because I'm having a really hard time picking, and I feel like I should pick an even number like 35, but I feel like that's a little ambitious. And I also need to think about my reading goal for next year. But anyways, I did finish The Nightmare Before Christmas. I actually finished this like a week ago, but I completely forgot to give you my thoughts. When I initially finished the book, I gave it a 4 stars on Goodreads, but I like keep thinking about it, and I keep like, you know, giggling when I think about like my reading experience, just how much fun I had. So I'm like tempted to give it a 5, but I do think because I was, you know, shopping and I was getting in the Christmas spirit and I was doing so much cross-stitching while I was listening to this book, you know, I was staying up late and I was like crafting. I feel like I just had such a good time with this, and my experience with it really had a lot to do with my reading. But like super good time. I would recommend this for some laughs and getting into the Christmas spirit. I really, really like this book. I found it super unique in that I find I hate most Christmas romances because they're so hallmarky in real life, and you know, I'm a romance girly, but I also love fantasy, and this world had its own magic system, you know, had its own world building, and so many elements that really just elevated it as a Christmas story that I really liked. And there's different types of magic depending on what holiday you're associated with. And I thought it was just super fun. So I really, really liked this book, and I wasn't expecting to, but it made me really get into the Christmas spirit. Now I did backtrack, and on my Kobo I was reading Hex and the City, which again, like the environment I think has a little bit to do with that. And I think this book reading was super confusing. I think I realized, because I'm so used to having different POVs, that maybe this book was just in third person, but either way, kind of confusing. I was just confused reading it until about the halfway mark. Something happens where, you know, you brush off your history knowledge about the Great London Fire. At that point, everything in the story made sense, but the beginning for me was super rough. I really was just confused the whole time, and I found it really hard to get into it. This book was basically, I think, English culture really condensed. I think I learned more about the tube system from this book than I did actually using it myself in real life as well. I think that made it a little bit hard because there's so many different like terms and just ways of speaking. I think an Oyster card was mentioned every other sentence. Basically a lot of the public transit, but that did have to do a lot with the plot. Essentially, this book is about our main character, Poppy. She is a little bit chaotic, if you know, and she ends up working in this magic shop, and you know, one day she gets really upset. She sees her ex-girlfriend cheating on her or getting with her friend or something like that, gets really angry, gets a little tipsy, and ends up cursing this pendant that someone named Axel Storm ends up purchasing and giving to his girlfriend at the time. Now this cursed pendant causes chaos wherever it goes, and Poppy realizes this and needs to go retrieve it from Axel Storm. What makes this more difficult is that Axel Storm is like a performer illusionist person, and she has to go to one of his shows, and a bunch of chaos ends up being caused because of this pendant in the actual show, and their relationship really goes on from there. However, like that is not really where the story goes. We don't really talk about the pendant anymore. That is just as much of a spoiler-free introduction as I can give you. I ended up giving this book a 2.5 stars, and on Goodreads I did give it a 3 because I do tend to round up. I don't think I'd recommend this book. It starts a bit like the Ex-Hex, but then it just gets confusing. And also, the beginning of their romance was super like, but then by the end of the book, like I was actually like believing their romance and, you know, rooting for them as a couple. But in the beginning, I was kind of like not loving it. Not a lot of world building, not a lot of like characters outside of like a main, like maybe 3. There's a lot of different scenes that sometimes aren't like, there's not really a great flow. It feels very like random, like a bunch of side quests. Yeah, like the most exciting plot twist or, you know, plot point really only happens at 70%. I don't know, I just found like I was having to work really hard to understand this story. That's why I give it that rating. Anyway, so today I downloaded and researched a bunch of Christmas books to read because The Nightmare Before Christmas really got me in that mood. I am still open to recommendations. I think I'm going to make a post on Instagram asking for a book recommendation. But if you're interested in that, I will be making a video about that soon, hopefully. Hopefully it's less chaotic than my fall reading. But that's just because Legends and Lattes put me in a reading slump for multiple weeks, which really sucked for me. A bad book, a mid book, and a great book. Like, we got all the experiences here. Anyway, getting into the Christmas spirit, I have a lot of Christmassy content coming soon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in this cozy reading vlog, and hopefully I'll see you in another video of one of these topics very soon. Bye!